This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good morning and welcome to this morning's newscast on Kaieteur Radio. I am Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. The Ministry of Natural Resources sent out a release yesterday announcing receipt of payment for Guyana's fifth oil lift from production at the Exxon-operated Liza Phase 1 project. Though this report gives some information on lifts dating back to the start of oil production, it is immediately noticeable that the report contains a vastly reduced account of information on oil production and revenues when compared to a report from the Ministry of Finance under the previous administration. This report comes after a month of advocacy for Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagio to keep his commitment he made during a February 9th press conference to release reports on Guyana's production. The Ministry of Natural Resources said that it recommits to transparency and accountability within the petroleum sector. Now let's tell you, after its initial investigations found that the nation's major oil importers, Sol, Guyana Inc., Rubis, and Guy Oil, were abusing their tax exemption letters, JRA sought to implement measures that would bring an end to this dreadful state of affairs. But instead of cooperating to ensure greater transparency and accountability, JRA saw great resistance from not only the oil importers, but even its customs officers as well. This was detailed in a letter from GRA's Commissioner General Godfrey Stacia to President Dr. Irfan Ali, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal, and Finance Minister Dr. Rashni Singh. And moving on, the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation yesterday announced that it has received the final tranche of outstanding payments to be made by the owner of the tug and barge that slammed into the bridge last December night. The company highlighted that the owner of Rediston and Sertrans, the Sukram, is no longer indebted. The barge slammed into the harbour bridge, causing it to shift out of alignment, and as a result, only small vehicles and minibuses were allowed to cross until the necessary repairs were completed. And on that note, let's tell you the state, through the Attorney General and the Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal, has slapped the contractor working on the Leg 1 Stelling Esmeralda Contracting Services with a lawsuit seeking to recover over $400 million. This move comes after just weeks after the contract was scrapped and over 2 years of project delays. According to the court documents, the state is seeking, among others, to recover general damages in excess of $100 million for the breach of the contract dated September 18, 2018, $41.3 million in liquidated damages, along with another $41.3 million under the performance bond agreement. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your morning's newscast. We will return after the break.
Digicel Prime Bundles just got better with 3 new apps. Watch more with PlayGo. Share more with Sportsmax. Read more news with Loop. Listen more with D-Music. Plus extra data. It's simply more bundled together. 51 gigabytes for 7 days for only $2,000. Live the experience with Digicel. Activate today on the My Digicel app.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. After nearly 8 months of going back and forth to the court, ex-CID rank Richard Prasad said that he has been vindicated despite losing his job. Prasad was hauled before the magistrate's court in Berbice and charged with corrupt transaction by an agent on last July 21st. His accusers claimed that he had accepted bribes from them in the sum of $60,000 each to assist them in a matter at the court. The magistrate then asked the prosecutor if there were any other witnesses or if there was an additional evidence, and the prosecutor responded in the negative. Magistrate Singh then dismissed the case. And now let's tell you, the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation has launched an investigation into the death of 4-day-old Aklima Mohammed, who passed away at the hospital last Sunday. The hospital's communications manager, Ms. Shalina Providence, said yesterday that a thorough investigation into the child's death will be done. She was, however, unable to offer any other comment on the incident. It is understood that the post-mortem was conducted on the child's remains, but the cause of death is yet to be related to the grieving parents. And finally, let's tell you the Ministry of Health yesterday reported the death of a 59-year-old man from Region 4 as the country's latest COVID-19 fatality. His death brings the national death toll from the virus to 205. 81 new infections via the ministry's daily dashboard were updated, increasing the case toll to 8,928. 8 patients are in the COVID-19 ICU, another 8 in institutional quarantine, 32 in institutional isolation, and 472 in home isolation.
Want value for your advertising